first we have to accept as parents that our kids are not the same. Their strengths are different. For instance, my son in Swahili are just worlds apart, but he's so good in math. He sees math through, you see. So the closest I came to helping him was to tell him that languages are foreign. We have to learn them. It takes time to learn something. We're not going to drop Swahili, but we're going to take time and learn Swahili. Yeah. And also just to realize that there are other kids who are really struggling, like you say, just grasping the concept of the academic concepts. And let's be intentional about focusing on what their strengths are. It helps pull your weakness, to give you some sort of balance. So if she's not a performer in class, for instance, dear teachers, she can do better in swimming or something close, singing or something. Let's use that as a motivation or a motivating factor to getting them be better.
My first class is also Swahili. And I remember vividly that first class was Vitendawili. And I don't know what Vitendawili is in English. What is Vitendawili in English?
So kind of like
it's something
proverbs.
clearly everyone has trauma with.
Because of the reaction, right?
Because I heard a couple of groans on top of it.
And you see,
Things never made sense.
they never made sense. You're entering into a class and the first thing is, okay, nyumba yangu haina mayai. So,
Haina mlango.
Haina mlango, yes. And then you're supposed to get, so my house has no door.
So you're supposed to guess what that is.
What that is.
And the answer is an egg.
It's an egg.
Okay.
How does that make
That's
sense?
my eye.
You know what?
That's
my
the one I
eye.
know, right?
Hello everyone, my name is Lorraine Zugula, Head of People and Culture at Akili TV and Akili Network.
And I am Jesse Soleil, and I'm president and co-founder of Akili Network and Akili TV.
Welcome to the AkiliPod, or welcome back if you're a regular listener and viewer, right? Yeah.
Welcome. Karibu.
Joining us today in studio is two amazing guests who I am happy to have here. They'll introduce themselves.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Joanne Maureen, and I am a trained communication specialist, and I'm also a mother of one handsome young man, 8 years old.
Oh.
Awesome. My name is Chris Process. That's my kawaida intro. I do have a podcast intro, but maybe I'll do it at the end.
We have a cake for you in the back. So.
I am a guy who does many things, but one of which I am excited about is I'm about to be a father. By the time you're seeing this, I might already be a dad. So really excited about that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
In case I haven't said it before. Congratulations. Are you excited?
Very, very excited. Very terrified.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things where you can never be too prepared. I'm sure the parents in the room know this 100%.
You will never be too prepared.
Yeah.
You can't even be prepared.
Even when you think you are prepared.
You think you're prepared, you go, you are not prepared. You got that diaper bag?
It's the most rewarding job, I'd say. So you learn on the job. Trust me.
Cool. I hope the wedding comes with a salary.
And paid internship all your life. Because you're never ready and you're always learning. It's an unpaid internship.
It's totally unpaid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The beauty about it is no one punishes you for the mistakes because the mistakes are going to be there.
Yeah.
But no one is going to know.
You can punish them for the mistakes. No,
They can punish you for your mistake because when they get older, they can sue you.
Oh, yeah. We
Your
talked
child will
about
be
that.
taking therapy.
Yeah,
Trauma
exactly.
caused
By my parents.
A childhood trauma manifestations.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
So today we are talking about Beyond the Report Card, and this is just to see your experiences and what you've learned from them, and I guess what you're looking to change or instill and remain in your parenting style, and for you as well now, how your handsome 8-year-old boy, how your experience has shaped also your parenting
And
for
I
him.
want to add one thing to that, which is not only your experience with your son, your future experience with your child, but what shaped you? What did you experience as children? And what do you want to pass on and not pass on.
on. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. That's a whole Pandora box we're opening right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's fine. We're gonna deal with it.
Okay, so before we started this session and in our discussion, you said you were raised by 2 teachers.
Absolutely.
How was that like for you?
My dad was a teacher. Both my parents are retired. So my dad was a teacher and my mom was also a teacher. Currently, they're retired and home. My dad was so strict. Okay, being raised in a typical African home with 2 teachers is one of those things I think we normally say kids brought by teachers have some kind of trauma. Because my personal experience was, number 1, failure is not allowed.
It's not an option.
It's not even an option. Why are we talking failure and we are children of teachers, you know? So that is one thing like I think I've had to live with, where I see failure or signs of failure and I get terrified and I freeze. Let me give you a short story. So after my class 8, that's grade 8.
Yeah.
I went to a national school. Then post-election happened and I had to transfer schools, like I was telling you guys. So when I transferred schools, the school I went to was kind of behind in terms of syllabus coverage. Okay, we were the ones who were behind where I was from in terms of syllabus coverage.
Yeah.
It's Mary Hill Girls. Yeah. Hi. Mahilians. Hi, Mahilians.
No.
So I transferred to this
We're
school.
fine now.
We improved.
We're now we're ahead.
We're ahead.
So I transferred to this school. And they've already moved with the syllabus. And I remember being bottom 3. Like last 3. I never took that report from home. And I don't even know where I kept it, but it never reached them. I told them the school will post it. We'll send it via post. And that's one thing that later on I came to deal with and notice that my fear of trying new things and failure comes from the point of we don't allow failure in this home. Of course, it shaped me to be a go-getter and just go for whatever I want, but still, that is one fear that comes with beyond the report form.
How does that affect your motherhood? How does that translate to your son?
I kind of try not to get to that point where I'm thinking about him in terms of the report book only. And thanks to CBC, there's so much that we could do, though I don't think we do it as a team, but we do it. It's a mother's kind of responsibility.
Wait, so you do his work is what you're saying?
I do his work, and I'm like, okay, CBC, please. Okay. But
Nobody said that.
nobody said that. We do most of the assignments. So in terms of parenting, I try to get him to explore. He's a very innovative guy. He's got good people skills. He's so empathetic and so loving and warm.
Yeah.
And those are the skills that I try to look into as I judge him as a human being, you know. I just don't want him to be that bright, science-oriented, car lover kind of guy. Like, go explore, be yourself.
Not that there's anything wrong with the science-oriented car lover kind of guy.
No,
But
it's
still,
awesome.
there's a temptation because you really want to make him go the tech way. There's that temptation to make him go for the coding. There are lots of coding courses for kids. Why are we...
Tech money is good money.
Yeah, tech money is good. Tech money will retire you.
But let's let kids be kids. Let kids be kids.
Let them discover the tech.
Let them
Yeah.
discover
They
what
wanna
is
do.
it that they want to do.
Yeah.
Because if we start directing them into what we want, then there's no difference between me and my parents who wanted me to be a bookworm. I still am, thanks to being raised up by them. But
So
still,
there are some good things
about being raised up.
by teacher parents.
Yes.
Yes, there are.
Yes. When I watch this, I really appreciate the upbringing. But back then, that is all they knew.
Yeah.
Because there were no options of swimming. I came to swim later in my life. I came to explore so many things much later in life.
Yeah.
By then, the only thing we knew was books. Wake up, study, go to school, get position 3 to 1. I know mine in primary school. 3 to 1, 3 to 1, 3 to 1. You see? I don't want to be that kind of mom.
And was that your experience growing up or
Well,
different?
interestingly enough, I was also brought up by two teachers.
Are you
my
serious?
dad-
Serious? Oh my goodness.
We knew that was the case. Because when she said it, you were like,
I was like, oh, damn.
wait a second.
This is interesting.
So my dad was a teacher, a high school teacher. My mom was a lecturer.
Yeah.
A statistician, like proper, but both of them were really proper academicians. And it was one of the things I believe they hoped they would pass on to their kids. So when we were growing up, it was almost the same. There was a huge expectation to always be, at the top of your class, good grades. My sister and I were, I don't know if any people remember Kumon, Math and English. It was like school after school.
Yeah.
Advanced student role is what it was called. And what would happen is, so say you're in what class, because we enrolled when I was in class 2 or 3. They would give you work that's maybe 3 classes ahead of you. And so you'd be, they would really rush you through, the technicalities of math and English and all of that. And so for me, growing up, it was, okay, I won't say that I didn't enjoy it. I enjoyed being number one. Like getting
You were
gifts
always
in
number
school.
one.
I was that kid, unfortunately. But fortunately as well.
Chris, you're still number one.
I enjoyed, getting the gifts, being called up during prize giving. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was enjoyable.
Yeah.
I didn't see any fault with it. And so, growing up was, for me, it was fun. I will say seeing other students being compared to me was the hardest part of things. Because, you're in class and teacher says, why can't you be more like Chris? I'm like, no, I'm not ready for that pressure. No, please no. But it was really, really interesting, really fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I love the part he says being compared to other children, because even within the family dynamic, like we are 4 kids. So just among the 4 of us, there's also that comparison. Kids are not the same.
Yeah.
I have one. In case I'm going to have many, I think I'll notice that they're not the same. So for our family, everyone is gifted differently. They have different talents. But it's always like, why can't you be like so-and-so? Even it happens even within the family dynamic, and even results into sibling rivalry.
I actually have a friend who, and I mean, I won't say her name, and I know she will.
Was she raised by teachers?
She'll feel Orlando. Her grandparents were teachers, but not really raised by teachers. But she grew up with cousins, and so their family and these cousins, and they grew up together, and for the longest time, before even she came into that home, one of her cousins would be told, why can't you be like, your cousin so and so? They're always getting good grades, because Hash is absolutely brilliant, sharp, genius. And so the cousin grew up hating this cousin before they even met, because the introduction to you was, I should be like you. You're the perfect A student, and that's what I should aspire to. Yet those are not my core strengths, right? So even beyond just the nuclear family, in the whole, the bigger look of, or the bigger picture of the family is, you can imagine someone you're a cousin you've never met. You're meeting for the first time, and you're excited. This is my cousin, and they're like, oh my God, this is my cousin, and you wonder what is happening, right? Yeah. So that comparison thing, and I don't know if parents do it knowingly, or it's just unknowingly, or it's to push you to just be better. Like, it's like, quote unquote, they should be your role model, right? So is there a tactic into comparing better, that not really to compare you to, but for you to aspire to, or maybe learn a thing or two from this other person, where you have someone to look up to, I guess, kind of?
I think it's just a matter of focusing on what are your strengths, what are Lauren's strengths, as opposed to Joanne. What is she good at? Because there's a cousin of mine, same case, just the cousin rivalry, if there's such a thing. But she's good with money. She saves her money. She spends it wisely. And Yeah.
Wait, and I'm inferring that
Yeah.
you're not good
No,
with
no, no,
money
no.
and don't spend it wisely.
I'm good with my money. I save my money. But she's much better than I am, you see. So those are things we could actually learn. I could learn from her so that we don't just focus on my strengths and what I'm doing right as opposed to what she's doing wrong. Yeah. So it's a matter of just balancing.
Well, and what you're also saying is compare apples to apples, which is what we say in business, right?
Yeah.
If you were a tennis player and you were a top seed and your cousin showed up and she was a tennis player and she was also top seed, now you can compete.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Because it's on the same thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if she shows up and she's number one in track and you're still a tennis pro, well, is that equal? No, of course not. You know what? So what if she got the fastest score? That's not your sport.
Yeah.
And I think we forget, we treat academics oftentimes like all of academics are the sport. When in fact math is the sport. Science is the sport. English is the sport. I'm good at this. I'm not good at that. And that's okay. And I think that's kind of what you're alluding to. You know, if you're going to compare, at least compare us on the same thing.
Really, yeah.
Can I ask a silly question? And you may feel uncomfortable answering it. But it's been my experience that when you have a teacher you like, you learn from them.
Yeah.
So I'm listening to both of you talk about your parents as teachers.
Yeah.
How do you feel about them as people? Do you feel like you got what you needed, or were you in their ledger book as, you know, a child, and where was your, you know, what's your level? Right? And you rose to the occasion and you felt like you were being targeted and fairly.
Yeah.
So what's your relationship with your mom and dad like? And same question for you.
Well,
Hopefully you're not watching. So,
my relationship with my dad is the best.
okay.
He taught me almost everything. He was warm. He was kind. He was not the tough teacher. He helped me with my homework. Taught me most of the things I know. And I don't get that vibe of performance books from him because he allowed me be there for music festivals, drama festival, what is it called? Reciting the poems and stuff. And reading a lot. He was so open to every other thing.
Yeah.
But for my mom, it was the books. So that has made my relationship with my dad a bit flexible and warm. But my mom, it's grades, perform. The sky is the...
The sky is the limit. Don't stop.
Don't stop. Why are you stopping? Focus. Next
Do better.
step. Do better. You know. So for me, I see her from a lens of, mom, the perform lady, and then dad, my guy. You guy, my guy. See? Yeah.
Interesting.
But
And how about you?
funnily, he's the most strict one.
Oh, well, strict and kind are not mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
Strict and kind.
Yeah. And you?
That's exactly what my dad was. Strict
and kind.
I remember there were times when, you know, he would make sure that a concept has been drilled into our heads, like we know it back of hand kind of thing. But then it wasn't ever, it never felt overbearing. You know, just looking back at it, it always felt like he wanted us to maintain a certain discipline when it came to trying things, when it came to doing things, that, you know, would go a long way in the future. So for him, yes, he was strict, but I enjoyed those moments for him pushing me to go further. There were times when I literally felt like I couldn't do it. I was an A student apart from one subject, Kiswahili. I would fail Kiswahili so badly. And my dad kept encouraging me, although I kept failing. I never passed, guys. There's no retribution in this story. But he always kept pushing me to try to do better. He would, you know, come up with different exercises to try get me to practice Kiswahili more and all of that. And I appreciated it. I really did. Because I really wanted to pass.
It just didn't. The connection never happened.
It didn't click. Yeah. And for my mom, again, it was pretty similar. Where I think them having shared values when it comes to education and discipline and all of that really helped that dynamic.
Right.
Where if dad is not around and mom is around, I'll still get similar treatment or a similar push to do certain things. Yeah.
You said something really, I think, interesting. Shared values. Do you feel like your parents had shared values, or were they just both educators?
Shared values in terms of raising their children? No.
So, clearly there was an issue.
There's a way we got away with stuff when we were with dad. And when mom was there, it was books. Focus. The only thing that's going to get you out of this pace is academics. So go for the books.
There's no room for something else.
I think that really manifested when I was in uni, and now I wanted to pursue film and theater because that's what I loved. And my mom was like, hey, no, law school.
You want to be poor?
Law school, you want to be poor? You want to be a dancer? Dancing? Law school.
Dancer? What? Where will you make money?
How are you going to make money dancing?
I'll tell you how I'm going to make Sorry. That was really borderline inappropriate. I apologize.
Not that kind of dance, but then dance is not considered, was not considered a career back then.
Yeah, now it is.
Now, currently it is, because I have cousins who are in music, and music as a career was not acceptable when I was growing up.
I have a question for you, Chris. Is also academia, everything, a student. And the norm in most households is if you're an A student, there are certain careers you're in. You're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you know, and you went into the creative field. So one, what informed that decision? And then two, was there a dissonance with your parents where they're like, my A student is gonna be a graphic design, a creative, you know?
Yes to like all of the questions.
Yes.
How my journey into this space started was, of course, a student. So going into uni, I did math and computer science, and I was a pure math major. And I loved it. I enjoyed it. I think one of the biggest faults with our education system right now is that they never expose you to what you could become or what could come out of your degree. And so when we're in school, the one thing we'd be told is you need to work hard so that you can either become a lecturer or a teacher. I was like, oh, that's it.
Did you have the pressure to be a teacher?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I just felt, as I was going through uni, I just felt, oh, geez, like this can't be it.
Yeah.
This can't be where I'm taking these skills, especially for me, where in the math and computer science, in as much as I enjoyed both, I enjoyed math more. Yeah. And so for me, I was like, okay, so it's either I become, one of those mad scientists with gray hair that's I'm working on one equation for all my life.
Yeah, the 7 problems that are yet to be solved. Okay.
I actually had dreams of solving some of those problems.
Oh, wow.
I was that into it.
My goodness.
But then at some point just felt like, no, there has to be more to whatever I'm doing. And so when I left school, I remember it like it was yesterday. I just come from a calculus exam, and I just felt this can't be the end of everything.
Yeah,
like this can't be what I'll be doing for the rest
that calculus
of my life.
Exam. That was it. You were done.
I was done, and I called my dad, told him I'm done. I'm coming home.
Really?
That was.
Had you completed your degree? Like that was your last?
No.
When which year was that?
This was 3.2.
Oh my God!
I was literally at the cusp
of finishing. You just have like 2-3 semesters to go, and you're done.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, and I'm done.
No, I'm done.
Wow. What was your dad's reaction?
So of course on phone he was like, okay, fine, come home. Let's talk about it. Went home and we spoke about it at length. And like you said, you could see the dissonance of, wow, this is the A student we've seen. Seeing everything through, and at this point in time he's like, no, that's it. And it was interesting having that conversation with my parents, letting them know this is my plan. I've found myself to be really enjoying graphic design, so I want to explore that a bit more. And even in doing so, for them, the thought process behind it was still, okay, we can find a school for that.
But
And for me, I was like, no, you're not hearing me.
I just need to apply it.
I've already started, because at the time I was already freelancing. So, Kenyan universities are not like international universities for those who are in the nice unis where, your classes are set out, your extracurricular activities are set out. Our class rep used to be, we loved him for this. He would put all our classes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So Wednesday at 2 p.m., you're done with your classes. And that's it. See each other next week on Monday. Yeah. And so we really enjoyed that. And so that gave me a lot of free time. And so I was already freelancing. I would work on, projects here and there, small things. People would ask for posters, logos, etc. So I already knew I'm enjoying this. So let me just explore this as a job, as a career. But for them, that's like, no, we can find
something. There's a school. Yeah.
You can become a teacher.
Oh my goodness. You said that and I remembered my parents did that. So funny enough, with my siblings, I always say in our family, I'm the average Jew. Because my siblings are smart. Like, they're exceptional. And for me, I struggled with math. In fact, when I hear people enjoy math, I'm just like, what are you talking about? Like, So now, for them, for me, I went through school and like I'm average. I'm comfortable with it. In fact, I'm not trying too much. Like I am accepting of who I am, right? I just need to, and I always, in fact, in uni, because I had some macroeconomics, financial management units. I used to tell my classmates this, and they used to look at me like, okay, what are you talking about? Like, I have to put extra effort. Like, I have to work twice as hard in math than any other subject, because I know, one, I don't like it. And two, I'm just doing it because it's a requirement, right? But then they scale easy. But then now the inverse of it is now when they got to uni, my sister now got a scholarship, and it was a math scholarship. So it's math and computer science, like you. And she got to, and I think the unfortunate thing is, one, math is already hard, right? Okay, for me, math is already hard. But now she had to do it. It was in a French-speaking nation. So now you're doing math in French.
Wow.
Because the curriculum is in the French language.
Good
And she knows French.
news is that 4 is still a 4.
Still 4.
If you
Although
write
you
it.
call it
If you write
Yeah, and then now she got to like towards the end of second year and entering the third, and she's like, guys, I want to come home. And it's the same. Come home, we talk about it.
So that you go back.
So that you go back.
Yeah.
And she
We got some
literally
talking
went
to do.
back, because it's like, my parents are like, no, don't
You
quit now.
cannot quit.
Just finish the degree and then come and do any other thing. Like, just finish it and you'll come and do any other thing that you want. And so for her, it was the struggle of, you can imagine, you're an A student, but you're failing and you have to repeat an entire semester, for example. And you keep repeating it, not because you're dumb, but just because your heart is not in it. And your parents still don't see that. Till I remember having a conversation with them, and I'm like, if she's depressed, because she became so tiny, and I'm like, if she's depressed, if she dies in another country, it will all be for nothing. And she's, she came back and she's starting again, and she's doing project management, and it's something that's making probably her happier than what she was doing. And I'm wondering, when do parents get to, like, what's that breaking? Does the kid have to get to the breaking point so that you realize?
Yes, they do. And I've been in it.
What?
Remember, I'm the oldest one here.
Yeah.
And my son graduated university already, lives in Japan, my oldest one.
Yeah.
When he was in school, he had gone to Montreal. He studied at McGill. And he went to learn computer science. And he was already a math genius, like you. He was solving stuff that I looked at and passed out. He called me from Montreal and said, I want to come home. And I was like, why? He goes, well, it's just not working. I'm not feeling good. And there were some mental health things there too. There were some other issues. But, I'm a parent. Stick it out. You got a semester to go. Let's just finish out this year. You know, you only got a couple months, and then come home, and then no, I need to leave now. It was very hard for me to accept those words. So I not only do I know it was hard to say it, it was hard. It's probably hard for your parents to accept it. To listen and say, no, okay, come home and we'll talk about it. Because quite honestly, I said the same words, but he was adamant. His boundaries were up. He was like, I'm done. I can't do this. And he changed his career focus and his university focus. But no, it's hard to say you can go.
That just means parents don't listen.
Oh, no. Even if you think you're listening, you're not listening.
Because
You're listening. You're hearing them. You're not listening. You're listening. You're not hearing them.
Our kids aren't listening either.
Oh my God.
This is a reciprocal non-listening situation.
You have to hear the heart of a child, right? Their heart is breaking just
Nobody
thinking
heard
about.
my heart. Nobody heard my heart. No, look, we paid for that semester. I was like thinking about all of it. It was like,
that's one of the
you're
things.
there. You're not here. I don't have to send you back. You've got a whole thing. You're just a couple months away. This is a marathon. And you are a mile away from the finish, and you want to quit. And that was my thinking. It's really hard to be a parent and hear those words, but. You know, yes, in your heart of hearts, you want to be the parent who listens. You want to be the one who helps. You want to, support your kids. But on the other side of it, you kind of got a job to do. And sometimes that job is stuff your kid into the box they need to get into now. Right? Because you think you know what's best.
You do.
And that's where you think you do until you don't.
Talking of stucking someone into a box, if I'm to tell my parents right now that finally I've accepted to go be a teacher, and my mom would pay for that course and everything.
You should totally say that.
No.
And then just have her send you the money.
No, that
4 years.
For 4 years.
I wish I could, because that is the box they both of them wanted to fit me in. Because I also think with African teachers, there's that legacy of heritage, where my parents were teachers, and now I'm also a teacher, and I think they kind of feel proud about it. But that's fixing a kid in a box. And sometimes that is not really where we want to.
And it's hard. I mean, again, being the father who felt that, even after it happens, I look back on it and think, oh, I'm glad of where he turned out. That was he navigated that. I wasn't as helpful as I could have been, and I never want to replicate that with his two younger siblings. But it took that first one to challenge me, and it was
firstborns are usually like the first pancake.
There's
It's just like you must wait out.
Wow, this is awful. But it's got perfect dimensions.
It does. And you know what to replicate in the others, and what works and what doesn't work. But now looking at it then is and I think for parents, and I'm not a parent yet, but is there a fear for failure on behalf of your child, for example, that you instill in them? Like you're afraid for them, because I mean, we've lived life enough to know that things are hard out here, right? And that's the thing when a parent is telling you choose something practical. They're like, a dancer, excuse me, but they don't look at it as, if I tell you I want to be a footballer, I want to be a runner, and also those sports careers also have a shelf life. But then it seems more practical to them or safer to them than running, singing, and so. What can we maybe say about parents who instill that fear into the children enough that the children don't even try new things?
Oh, wow. I think, unfortunately, I might be one of those parents because here's the thing. My son isn't even born yet, but like, at least just don't be the slowest in class. I really hope he's athletic. That's like one of the standards.
Be fast.
Be fast. But I think it's quite interesting, especially for the parents who now use that as a fear tactic to tell kids that, you know, you're going nowhere.
Yeah.
I think many people have reiterated this over and over again. There's such power in your words.
Yeah.
Just by telling your child that, they already believe that they have already failed at that point. Many times it didn't come from my parents, but there were people who, you know, would say, what do you mean? You got to third year and then you've left. You'll go nowhere. Go back and finish that degree.
Yeah.
And for me, that translated to as I've already failed.
Yeah.
That's the end of the road for me. If you're telling me I'm going nowhere, but this is where my heart is, then you're already calling me a failure.
Yeah. It's funny because that translates into how you also approach the entirety of your life. And I know a friend who they're raised in a family of overachievers that when her marriage failed, okay, she got divorced, not really marriage failed. Sorry, it's just she got divorced. It just seemed like, oh my goodness, I've failed. You know.
Lorraine, sorry to cut you short, but you know, I love the way your posture was kind of facing towards me. And just to interject, trust me, there's a way that fear is instilled in you that every other thing that fails, you attach it to that moment. I don't know how it happens, but she is so right. It's like another failure, another. It's like failure on top of failure.
You're supposed to be a high achiever through and through all spheres of your life.
There's a perspective though, and let's start with the language, right?
The language.
I failed. I didn't die. I think when you align failure, you imagine death. When you the word failure, you're a failure means forever you will fail.
Continuously.
Guess what? Forever you will learn.
Yeah,
right? If
sure.
failure equals learning, which is the real teachers would say, hey, you failed. Here's what we need to do now. Here's how to correct. Here are the things that didn't work. Like that's teaching, not sticking a kid in front of a book and saying, okay, 100%. That's not teaching. That's demanding. That's a drill sergeant, not a teacher. So, you know, I think the people's perceptions of what they're responsible for is not just instilling knowledge into you. It's making you a good person. And being a good person means that you learn from your failure and that doesn't define who you are.
I wonder if there's an aspect to it on, you know, how you parent and how you approach failure, in terms of there are people who failure is not an option and they cower away from failure completely, like I'm not allowed to fail, right? And there are people who embrace it. Like, it's like almost like there's a curiosity to it that I'll try and fail and I won't care. I will try again or I will pivot.
I'm going to mess this thing up the first time I try it. That first pancake, terrible.
Guys, I'm
the
feeling
second
cornered.
one, that thing's going to be fantastic.
I'm feeling
And
attacked.
by the time I hit number 6, that pancake is going to be great. Incomparable.
So I wonder if it ever hinders a child's, for example, creativity or curiosity.
I would say I've seen it with various people around me, people who, especially awkwardly enough, the high achievers. For some reason, high achievers tend to be very afraid to try new things because they're so used to being at the top of the ladder. When you present them with something where there's potential for failure, they tend to shy away from it.
Or they'll try it once. So that was my oldest, who great in math. You put him on a skateboard, he tries the first time, and he's like, "I'm not good at this." And it's like, "Dude, you haven't tried yet." He's like, "No, I tried it. I'm not good at it." So there's an instantaneous rejection of something that I'm not immediately good at because I'm good at other things.
It's a really steep hill to climb. For including myself, as someone who's been there, where I'm so used to. Well, when Kiswahili was easy, for example, this was between class 1 and like class 5. I would pass. I go into class 6. And it's the first time I'm seeing like 60 something on my report card. I'm just like, oh my gosh. this
is it.
It's that dude. I am not speaking Swahili.
Never again. And I went through that whole spiral of I wasn't willing to try. I wasn't willing to put in any effort just because I knew if I commit myself to this, I'll just keep hurting my own feelings because I'll keep failing and I'll keep failing and I'll keep failing.
So you're protecting yourself.
Yeah.
I
Self-preservation.
thought I was protecting myself.
That was the decision.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. 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 Yeah.
Well, wait a second. So let's continue that. You thought you were protecting yourself.
Yes. Yeah. So why I say that is because in the future, I noticed that it's like your son. When I try something and the first thing I'm met with is failure, then I tend to pull away from it.
Yeah.
Say, okay, I'm not trying this again.
Yeah.
I'm not here to fail. I'm used to things coming easy. So
I'm the man. So.
I remember there was a time I tried my first big investment. I saved money, put it somewhere. Whole investment crashed.
Oh my goodness.
All of it gone. And from there I was like, oh, okay. And it took me like 3 years to work up the courage to begin trying again. And I noticed this trend in my adult life that I would just shy away from things that if I didn't have an immediate answer for how this is going to work, I would shy away from it. I wouldn't even try. Yeah.
All of you three who are parents, including my co-host, is say you notice your child is struggling academically, right? They're not good at maybe one subject, two subjects, or even all of them. They're an average student or even a low performer for one reason or another. And it's just things are not picking up, right? You've given tuition, they're reading, they're putting in the work. They're actually working hard. Not that they're lazy or anything, but things are they're not picking up. But there are other things that maybe their strength. How do you identify that? And how do you nurture that? And how do you also get to be of acceptance of that, where you're not letting them fail particularly, and they're not dropping out of school, but also no one likes to fail consistently every time, and they're putting in the work, right? So how do you encourage them that you're actually good at this thing, let's nurture it, and you're not totally bad at what you do? Or everything that you do.
I actually love that you use the word accept. And that for me is a powerful word. First, we have to accept as parents that our kids are not the same. Their strengths are different. For instance, my son in Swahili are just worlds apart. But he's so good in math. He sees math through, you see. So the closest I came to helping him was to tell him that languages are foreign. We have to learn them. It takes time to learn something. We're not going to drop Swahili, but we're going to take time and learn Swahili. Yeah. And also just to realize that there are other kids who are really struggling, like you say, just grasping the concept of the academic concepts. And let's be intentional about focusing on what their strengths are. It helps pull your weakness, to give you some sort of balance. So if she's not a performer in class, for instance, dear teachers, she can do better in swimming or something, close singing or something. Let's use that as a motivation or a motivating factor to getting them be better.
Can I just offer a slight tweak on your perspective?
Yeah.
Because this conversation is about kids who are trying and failing.
Yeah.
But it's not always the kids that are failing. Sometimes it's the teachers that are failing. Teachers that fail the kids. So, my son did really well one year in a subject, and then this year it's terrible. And when I visited the school, I met the teacher and I found out why. So his top score last year was in English. This year, his lowest score is in English. That doesn't necessarily happen. That's not like, because his other scores are still fine.
Yeah.
So what happened? Well, the teacher changed. And so did the teacher's attitude towards teaching. And so did his engagement with that teacher. And so he wasn't learning because he wasn't engaged. So the fault wasn't with my son, I think. Yeah, he could have stuck it out and just, not like the guy. And yes, these are things that we're gonna learn.
Yeah.
as we are become adults, that sometimes we have to work with people we don't like. That doesn't mean you can't disconnect.
Yep.
But that has nothing to do with his grade.
Yeah.
What he learned is how to navigate a personality that he doesn't necessarily enjoy spending time with. So what are the things you're learning besides getting your grade? And maybe the question isn't just, hey, how do we fix this? It's why? Why are they getting a bad grade? And if we're not asking that and trying to investigate, the root of why, then we're going to miss all these other clues, and we're going to just firmly lay all the blame on the child.
You've reminded me, my love-hate relationship with maths. There's 1 year I did really amazing in math. In fact, I think I was the top student. And it was because of a teacher, and I still remember his name. And it was like in class 4 or class 5, and he was called Mr. Tori Teach. He gave me presents for I did a most improved. You are just the top scorer, and that entire year, maths became almost like a favorite subject. And I moved on to the next class, and I was just like, let's go back to what are these,
rote math instruction.
And you see, it's easy and maybe it was easy for my parents to be accepting of, this is one exceptional year. We had a conversation with someone else who is, a psychologist, and she was talking about notice the patterns, notice the changes, right? Yeah. And so the exceptional year was, either it was easy this year, or I was just concentrating this year.
And then I was like,
awesome. The teacher was awesome. But we don't, or many parents don't go back and investigate. Like you walk in parenting like autopilot and just make assumptions, right? But there's no the investigation in changed behavior, or what are the changes that have happened that make this year different, for example, or make this term different for our children, right?
That's completely true. I will say, for one, my love-hate relationship with Kiswahili. As I was going to high school, I remember making it a point to myself, we're going to try.
We're putting in the old cause try.
We're actually going to try.
Swahili, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember, so I went to school like 4 days after the other guys, because my offer letter hadn't come yet. And so when I got the letter, of course, went to school. First class I step into is Kiswahili lesson. And this teacher just disses me. Like, fully.
Oh my gosh.
To the point of you're trying to fight back the tears. This is your first day in school. Your parents have just dropped you off. You've seen them off. I'm getting to class, new faces, new teacher, and she just disses me, and that was the end.
That was the end of trying.
That was the end of trying. I was like, God, you see, it's a sign. It's a sign.
This must be a sign.
So they can make you or they can break you.
Oh my goodness. That actually has reminded me. Also, for me, Swahili wasn't a favorite subject, but I'm good at languages. But my first introduction to Kiswahili. So, born in Kenya. I was actually born in Mombasa. But then my dad used to work and move around quite a bit. So grew up out of Kenya for a while. And so when we were coming back to Kenya, and my first class is also Swahili. And I remember vividly that first class was Vitendawili. And this, I don't know what Vitendawili is in English. What is Vitendawili in English?
So
like proverbs. Clearly everyone has trauma with.
Because of the reaction, right?
Because I heard a couple of groans on top of it.
And you see,
things never made sense.
They never made sense. You're entering into a class, and the first thing is, okay, nyumba yangu haina mayai. So
haina mlango.
Haina mlango, yes. And then you're supposed to get, so my house has no door.
So you're supposed to guess what that is.
And
the answer is an egg.
It's an egg.
Okay.
How does that make
That's
sense?
my eye.
That's
the one I know, right?
But you see, the problem with that as well is there's only one right answer.
Exactly.
So if you think of something else that
right.
could be the same,
sure.
She's like, no.
That's wrong.
That's wrong.
And you're like, y'all are not making sense.
The answer.
Yes.
It is a correct answer. However, it isn't the one I'm looking for.
Yeah. So I think as parents, we futuristically, myself included, we need to learn how to investigate, right? And just see beyond what is on paper. It's actually like for me as a HR professional, when I'm receiving a CV, I look at what's on the paper. Even you as a hiring manager, like you're looking at someone, what's on paper, but you investigate beyond what's on paper. So what are your actual skills when we are having a conversation, right? So it's the intentionality of having these conversations with children and digging deeper and finding out, okay, beyond the report card, literally, what is going on.
You mentioned something, Lorraine, about beyond the report card. And this is about investigating what is going on even within that specific child's sphere. What's happening at home and what's happening in school. Because sometimes you realize there's a disconnect.
Yeah.
There's something going on at home and this kid just can't concentrate in class and his grades are dropping. So there's a need for the parent and the teacher to collaborate in raising this kid, in ensuring this kid is the same person at home and even in school. Because there's an instance where previously I was being told, you don't know your child. He's outspoken, he's warm, he's, but at home he's like just timid. Whatever instruction you give, that is what we do, you see. And then at some point I also noticed the teacher, there was a disconnect now in school. I don't want to go to school today. Then you realize the pressure is from home. He's carrying it to school and he can't perform or concentrate. And the teacher doesn't know. So it's a whole collaborative affair between the parent and the teacher in raising this kid even beyond the report form. Yeah.
I have a hot take. Whereas I don't necessarily see it as a full-on collaboration with parent and teacher. I honestly think that parents should take control of the kids being raised. Because what happens in some instances, if you're giving this push and shove to the teachers, there may be things that teachers will do, will say, will instill that you may not be okay with. And so you need to be able to take control of that and say, okay, if this is what is happening in this school, in this class, then perhaps this is not the place for my kid.
My kid,
That my child deserves better. They should get better. So you should be able to give them better. Now, I know this is ideal because schools cost money.
Might not be the reality.
It might not be the reality. But I think to an extent, parents really need to take up that responsibility and say, this is my child. This is how they should turn out holistically. And so I need to be able to really
I do agree with you, Chris. I do agree with you because even in terms of behavior, let's take the example of bedwetting. I noticed at some instant, the bedwetting was because of the pressure from school, like he says. And there's nothing happening at home, but school is stressful. And he's just in his own anxious space, So we also need to analyze, like Chris says, be intentional parents about what is it that's happening in that particular school. You're paying so much money to put your kid, So
you've actually said something, and I want to just hold on to that a bit, is that anxious space. You notice that something in school is giving your child anxiety, right? And how do you go about that dealing as a parent? This anxiety, you notice it might be reflecting on how they perform. It might be reflecting on how they show up. So how do you, as a parent in this instance as well, show up so that they are, I like telling people, you can't score someone's performance when they're not operating at optimum because you actually don't know what they're capable of. So how do you get them to the point of optimum where you're actually, this is who you are at when you're at optimum?
For me, my strategy is always, I learned it though. I wasn't so keen about it. And some behavior in him are what made me be so keen to notice the patterns. So we do check in. How was your day? And we just make it a habit and just, today my kid knows you guys and some of you, because we talk, you're like, today Lorraine, God. They're like, really, Mama? It's just a bad day. Maybe she was having a bad day. Do you think he was okay?
Yeah.
Like, no, he must have been dealing with. And you, how was your day?
Yeah.
Like, fine, teacher, my friends. Then you get to check in.
Yeah.
And even physically, is he biting his nails? Behavior change, you know? Is he kind of shy to open up, to speak? Is he bullying other people when they're playing? So it's just
Is your child the bully?
Absolutely. Sometimes they're the bullies, So just being, for me, it's about being present. It's very difficult in this current work-life balance, everything going on, but we try.
That's a good point. And what I think one of the basic ideas here is you don't drop your kids off at school to be parented.
Yeah.
You drop them off at school to learn something, and that's it.
Yeah.
And everything in between, their lives are not the school.
Yeah.
Everything in between is you and your child.
But Jesse, we have boarding schools. What would you say about that?
Why?
Oh my goodness.
That's what I would say. That's another podcast
Boarding
episode.
schools are crazy.
Yeah.
Why would you do that to
Yeah.
yourself and your child? Oh,
It's
because
the
you don't want
culture.
them around. No,
Yeah.
it is the culture given by
Given by-
the
given by-
colonialism of this country that didn't have boarding schools before. We had our good friends who showed up and made sure that we did. And you know why that's still a thing?
Yeah.
Because we let it.
Yes.
Because we let it. Because it's a convenience for us. And the convenience is I don't have to worry about my kid.
Yeah.
Oh, but they're not getting
awesome.
parented at boarding school,
No.
are they? No. Are they getting taught? Maybe. Are they getting harassed? Probably.
Possibly,
Yeah.
I mean, what are they experiencing? Separation anxiety?
Probably.
probably.
Yeah.
So what do you expect?
That's the
I mean,
reality.
I'm not a fan, as you can probably tell from
Yeah.
my
I mean,
response.
I can say, even for us, I remember a time where boarding schools were an in thing. Or I
Yeah,
don't know if
exactly.
it gets to a point where they become an in thing in a
There's-
certain
there's a
grade
point.
6.
There's
There is
a
a point. Like, and I remember going back home and telling my parents, oh, yeah, I want to go to boarding school. And my dad was like, nope. My dad was like, nope.
So nice.
Was like, oh, you went to
Boarding
boarding
school
school?
for
I
me
went boarding
was a
school in high
threat.
school, but then
You
it was one of those things where my dad, if I told him I wanted to go to boarding school,
He'd take you
he'd
to
say, he'd say, yeah.
Oh my goodness!
It's a cultural
My
thing,
parents were so intentional about. None of us went to boarding school in primary, and which is funny because even my sister, who's the last born, and at one point I think when now they were a bit busier in life, so she'd come home, but at least she was in like class 6, class 7, but she'd come home and she's alone. So there are things, of course, everything is prepped in the house, and we stopped having like a house manager when we were young, a bit younger. But my brother and I were off in high school, so boarding. Now in high school, you get to go to boarding. But my sister now, she's at home alone for a few hours in a day.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, do we take her to boarding? And my dad was still like, no. We still have years in parenting where it's not safe enough for her to just be out in the world alone, right? So I find it interesting when and no offense to any parent who has their child in boarding school, everyone is different.
None meant.
But I mean, I agree with. I saw the sense in it is even for me, I wouldn't take my child to boarding school in primary. In high school, I don't mind it, but in primary, I want to help you formulate your identity and to see the changes and help you through the changes.
I would argue that some of the best years are their high school years where they're becoming independent.
That's
and
when
you
they
get
change
to
a
see
lot,
them.
yeah.
And so this is one of the things that, maybe there's a visceral reaction. More of that is because one of my greatest joys in life is to be with my kids.
Yeah.
To see them and to be part of their lives. That is one of the things that that is a gift for me. And if you end up not realizing that that's a gift and you deny it of yourself, you miss out on something that could be really wonderful.
Yeah.
True.
So just how as we wrap up, just for parents out there, and just this is based on your experience and your opinions, is how do we as parents, how do the parents who are watching this podcast and listening to this podcast, how do they enrich their children's lives beyond just academics? How do they ensure that just beyond this scores that you're being scored upon, you actually have a wholesome childhood and a wholesome life growing up?
Wow.
Let kids.
And then solve world peace.
Yeah.
World hunger no more.
Let kids be kids. Let kids be kids. Let kids explore. And also, in most cases, you're just mirroring yourself, your fears, your anxiety, your everything. Your kid is your mirror. So when you see something is not right with them, you're projecting. So check yourself and help them through life. For the next maybe 16, 15 years. Of course, we are worlds apart, but there's always that place of balance when you're intentional about knowing who they really are.
Yeah.
Not by name.
Intentional.
Yeah, that one keeps showing up in all of our.
And this
all of
should
our
be called the
conversations.
intentional podcast.
Yeah.
And be present and just be present and get to know your child. They hide a lot when you come to them as parents, as mom-son relationship. But when you come to them as a friend, someone they're open to talk to, then it becomes a bit easier. That has been my strategy, just bringing him close and getting to know what happens in that Gen Alpha mind.
Wow. I think some of the things I'm going to try.
And experimental.
Very soon, man. I'll tell you what. Don't shake the baby. That's the number one thing you need to know right now. That baby will show up. Don't shake it.
Are we talking shaking?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't do
God.
that.
Don't shake it.
Don't
You
shake,
shake the brain.
don't shake
Don't
the
shake
baby.
the baby.
Chris. I never.
Don't shake the baby.
Anyway, so one, I would say break the assumption of who you think your child is going to be. I think for me that's one of the things I'm struggling with. And I'm really trying. Yeah, I'm really trying to break the assumption that my child is going to be athletic. They're going to be an A student. They're going to be this. They're going to be that. They're going to be this. They're going to be that.
Yeah.
It's interesting because expectations are always born out of conversation.
Yeah.
It's how we run it in the corporate space. It's how we run it in our different relationships. So you need to be able to, well, I mean, if they're 0 years old, you can't have to tell me what's on your mind.
You would be shocked.
But yeah, like by what we're saying.
Come here, babe. Okay. Don't forget to run. And when you do it really fast.
Really fast. Yeah. So, but being intentional and being present allows you to see what these children are passionate about, what they like, what they're enjoying. One of the things I will also do is try and expose my child as much as possible
Yeah.
to as many things as I can find. Okay, this week you want to try horse riding? It's expensive.
Do this.
I'll see where I'll find that money.
Yeah. We
And
got
take
to do
you
this.
for you to try horse riding. This
Yeah.
week you want to try this. We'll find a way to try it. Just expose them to as much as possible to allow them to have this exploratory phase when they're still young.
Yeah.
That way it doesn't come, third year, second semester, and that's when they're like, yo, okay. So maybe this is important.
I will just suggest something that many of us don't think about.
Yeah.
Don't dismiss anything. Even the things that seem frivolous to you,
Yeah.
don't dismiss them. My firstborn is living in Japan, translating Japanese comic books. He's fully fluent in Japanese, reading and writing and speaking, married to a Japanese woman. Started with Pokemon. Where does it start?
Yeah.
Where does the life begin?
Yeah.
And, I look at those cards and I go, that's stupid. Why are you doing that? And then at the age of 22, like, okay, there's something wrong with this kid, but he's speaking Japanese.
Yeah.
It's like, don't dismiss anything because you might miss the thing that that becomes who they are.
And on that point, also, if they don't like something today, doesn't mean they won't like the same thing
Absolutely.
in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So today you could expose them to Pokemon and your kid will think, okay, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But then when they turn 18, 19, 20, and
Yeah.
they stumble upon Pokemon. It's
Yeah.
like, I'm having a
Hey, these guys are playing the TCG. That's a trading card game.
yeah. I'm having a resurgence with Pokemon at the
Pokemon.
moment because
Yeah.
when I was younger, I saw Pokemon. It
Yes.
never made any sense to me. Never. It's like catch me dead.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm begging my wife. Can we get? Hear me out.
Hear me out.
Pokemon.
And the answer is
No, she hasn't really said no. It's me trying to find the original cards and all of that. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. I think this was amazing.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. This was an amazing
great
conversation. Yeah, and great learnings.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely come back and tell us if your strategies are working.
Oh, yeah.
And if your kid is
We'll have a
fast.
check-in.
I
Yeah.
need
Next
to know
year.
if he's fast.
next year. We're going to
Next
be
year
like,
sometime.
okay, can he walk yet?
Athletic?
Is he quoting Shakespeare?
Did he start by crawling or running?
Yeah.
You know?
The Pythagorean
Is he
theorem?
athletic?
Is that it? That's the easiest one.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah,
Awesome.
but amazing conversations, and
Yeah.
we are happy to have you guys, and we've had an amazing time. I don't know if you have.
Of course.
Great, and yeah, we'll come back again.
Yes,
you.
thank
We'll
you.
definitely be here.
All right.
Cheers.
Yeah.